Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker is now just 120-something days away from the official release of this movie by writer and director J.J. Abrams and Chris Terrio, as well as creator George Lucas. This is Mike Zero. Make sure to subscribe if you're new to the channel for future Star Wars content. So what's really exciting about Episode 9 is that we do know that at the end of the day, this film is really going to have many different saga-wide implications to the Skywalker saga, which, like I've always expressed before in the past, could very well be a good or a bad thing for the Star Wars franchise. It's all a matter of exactly how the fans are going to react to these big decisions by Disney, Lucasfilm, JJ, and George, and how the Jedi, Sith, and Force lore is really going to be utilized in this story. Now, these past couple of weeks or so, we've been learning a whole lot more about this film, and when it all comes down to one of the concept art descriptions, this is where things begin to get very exciting for one of the big pieces of Sith lore in Episode 9. Now, specifically, a description of Rey on board of the Millennium Falcon, where it's explained that Poe, Finn, and Chewbacca are inside the cockpit of the Millennium Falcon and are on their way to the exotic jungle world. It said that during their travel through hyperspace, Rey kills time by going through and studying many of the artifacts that once belonged to Luke Skywalker during his time on Ahch-To. It said that one of the objects that Rey comes across is said to be an ancient gold ring that was once owned by Darth Plagueis. The ring is said to have been locked away in Palpatine's vault that Luke retrieved in his younger years, where the ring itself is said to make a Force-sensitive individual stronger through the ways of the Force, as well as this ring containing a connection to the spiritual realm itself. However, it's described that one must be associated with the dark side to even communicate with the Sith wraiths inside of this mysterious realm. Rey is said to examine the ring closely, where she goes through her bag again, discovering the authentic manuscript of Darth Plagueis. The manuscript is said to contain many secrets of Plagueis and his dark side powers that were logged into this small, complex manuscript that appears to be faded on the cover. So let's go over a couple of parts about this. Now, in case you guys did not know, this all takes place in the first act of the movie, where Rey is studying all these different artifacts and all these different relics that once belonged to Luke. It's very similar to what happened in the Poe Dameron comics. I don't know if you guys read that. In the Poe Dameron comics, we have the entire crew on board of the Falcon, where Rey is studying the ancient Jedi texts, and we have C-3PO translating some of the ancient language to Rey. So it's really intriguing that she's examining all these different artifacts, two of which belong to Darth Plagueis, one of which is said to be a golden ring. Very familiar, right? Very similar to what we saw on Snoke's finger in The Last Jedi and, of course, in The Force Awakens. And it really leaves one wondering as to exactly what's really going on with these rings in, of course, Star Wars. Now, when we think about Episode 9, we're really focused on the Jedi, the Sith, and the Force lore and how it's all going to be organized into this movie. And what's so exciting is how we will be learning that, Luke Skywalker once owned these artifacts that were once in the hands of Darth Plagueis himself, that were kept hidden away within Palpatine's vault somewhere over in the Outer Rim. Now, Luke Skywalker during his younger years was actually said to retrieve this, and this falls directly in line with what we got a little glimpse of in the Battlefront 2 campaign, when both Luke and R2-D2 and Del Meeko traveled to the world of Pilio, it's actually called, where just one of Palpatine's vaults were discovered. And that's how he comes across the compass that leads him to the first Jedi Temple and everything around those lines, or at least helped him on his journey there eventually. So, what's really intriguing to me, though, is that this golden ring is also said to hold a big connection to the spiritual realm and is able to communicate with the Sith wraiths. Now, one must be associated with the dark side of the Force, and it really does bring one to question, is this ring going to play a larger role in this movie? Or is there going to be, a part of this that's only going to be in the form of an Easter egg, where we're going to get a little glimpse of this and learn more about it in the upcoming visual dictionary of course, The Rise of Skywalker, which, by the way, guys, I'm very excited to read. I'm also very excited to read the novelization, which is going to expand the film a lot more than what the film can really provide. So the last piece that I think I really want to touch on here is the manuscript of Darth Plagueis. Once again, tapping into Star Wars Legends, J.J. Abrams really is trying to pay a lot of attention to the EU and inserting a lot of that content into canon material. The manuscript is said to contain many of Plagueis and his thoughts, as well as the dark side powers that he learned, that he actually logged into this manuscript. So, what I find very intriguing about that is that why would Luke Skywalker own these relics? Well, it's probably because he wanted to understand the dark side more, and fits directly in with the other leaks that we discussed, where during his time on Octu, he was really trying to figure out exactly why one brings themselves on the path to the dark side, and exactly how his father fell to the dark side. What really tempted him, besides Padme dying in childbirth and all those different things. So anyways guys, drop a comment below, let me know what you think about all of this in the comments, and if you guys did enjoy the content for today, do make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.